You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Colorado. This is the Engage the Rockies podcast week in review for June 17th through the 21st. If you'd like the show notes with links to the stories we're covering today, please visit engagetherockies.com and sign up to our email. Every Friday, we'll send you the list of articles when a new episode is released. From around the state, a Senate panel on Thursday decided to investigate the actions of a legislator accused of showing up intoxicated at a city council meeting in her district. The panel unanimously agreed that a probable cause exists to look into an ethics complaint filed by the North Glen City Council against Senator Faith Winter, a Democrat from Westminster, for her behavior during the April meeting. North Glen City Council members allege that Winter failed to uphold her duties as a senator when she appeared to be intoxicated on April 3rd, in which the City Council and residents discussed a proposal to locate a behavioral center in North Glen. Meeting attendees noted Winter appeared to have glassy eyes, slurred speech, and some individuals smelled alcohol on her breath, and that seemed to be disinterested, annoyed, and combative during the meeting. The day after the meeting, Winter entered treatment for substance use disorder. On May 1st, North Glen City Council sent a letter to Senate President Steve Finberg requesting he launch an official complaint against Senator Winter. The Senate Committee on Ethics held its first hearing on June 13th. Moving on. A candidate for the Regional Transportation District Board of Directors has a criminal record spanning 2 states that included multiple financial charges and a charge of animal cruelty. Robert Denninger, a former RTD operator and candidate for District A, acknowledged his record, saying he's embarrassed by his mistakes, but that he's undaunted in his pursuit for changes at the Transit Administration. Denninger has been charged with a number of crimes, according to records shared by his opponent, Chris Nicholson, and independently confirmed by Colorado Politics. Among those charges is a 1992 conviction for theft. The records put the amount at between $400 and $15,000 in Boulder County, for which Denninger was sentenced to 2 years in jail, as well as 2 DUIs that same year and a restraining order against his ex-wife. Denninger also faced financial charges in Travis County, Texas, in the early 1990s. In August of 2003, Denninger was cited for animal cruelty after he left his dog unattended in a vehicle in the Coors Field East parking lot. The RTD board election is in November. Moving on. A federal judge on Tuesday concluded Colorado may not subject out-of-state banks to Colorado's interest rate caps when they lend to Colorado residents, as envisioned under a new consumer protection law set to take effect on July 1st. U.S. District Court Judge Daniel Domenico issued a preliminary injunction applying to members of 3 banking industry groups, which argued Colorado exceeded its authority by exporting its own limits on interest rates to banks chartered in other states. Domenico noted he was tasked with interpreting federal law in a novel context, and he repeatedly criticized Congress for using unclear language. Nonetheless, he believed Colorado's ability to regulate excessive interest rates on loans made in the state was evident enough. The bank is the one that makes the loan, so Colorado's authority extends only to its own state-chartered banks. Moving on. Backers of a move to force Colorado Republican Party Chairman Dave Williams from office over the state GOP's attacks on Pride Month gained support this week from additional county parties, even as Jefferson County's GOP censured its chair for setting the drive in motion. Members of the Weld County Republican Party's executive committee voted nearly unanimously Tuesday night to join more than a dozen other county GOP organizations that have asked Williams to step down or face a vote to remove him from the top party post. Williams, a candidate in next week's primary for the El Paso County-based 5th Congressional District seat held by retiring U.S. Rep. Doug Lamborn, has drawn criticism from fellow partisans for a series of emails and other messages targeting Pride Month, the LGBTQ community's annual celebration. Among them was an email titled "God Hates Pride" and a social media post urging the party's followers to, quote, burn all the pride flags this June. Williams told Colorado Politics on Tuesday that he wasn't cowed by Weld County's move. In local El Paso news, the mass shooter who killed 5 people and wounded 17 others at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs pleaded guilty to 74 federal charges on Tuesday. The plea deal, reversing an earlier plea of not guilty in the Club Q shooting carries 55 life sentences plus 190 years in prison. Among the federal counts against 24-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich were 50 hate crime charges. The sentences in addition to 5 consecutive life sentences handed down in a state case last summer. Aldrich also pleaded guilty during that case. Tuesday's sentencing closes the federal inquiry into the November 19, 2022 attack, which saw Aldrich enter Club Q around midnight and fire an AR-15 style rifle into the crowd. Judge Sweeney recommended Aldrich serve the life sentence with the Colorado Department of Corrections rather than in federal prison. The sentence does not carry the possibility of parole. Moving on, Colorado Springs Utilities will more than double its electric generation capacity in the next 5 years, part of the agency's efforts to meet state regulations for clean energy, support Colorado Springs' growing population, and ensure service reliability for customers. Springs Utilities plans to add 1,500 megawatts of new electric generation capacity, the agency's energy project manager, Jesse Marshall, told the board of directors during a special meeting Thursday. Marshall and other officials updated the board on several projects the municipal-owned utility is working on across Colorado Springs to meet state requirements to reduce carbon emissions 80% by 2030 and retire all coal generation by 2030, as well as to meet growing electric demand. They too highlighted other potential sources of energy generation the city could tap into to meet the requirements and maintain service reliability. Colorado Springs can currently generate up to 1,370 megawatts of electricity, mostly through natural gas and coal, which combined make up about 81% of the resource mix. About 18% of the city's electricity currently comes from renewable sources like hydro, solar, and wind power, Marshall said. Utilities officials will present the board of directors more information on the EnergyWise plan in the coming months. And lastly, a major Colorado Springs intersection soon will receive a multi-year makeover. The Colorado Department of Transportation said the intersection of Powers Boulevard and Airport Road near Peterson Space Force Base and the Colorado Springs Airport will be in the preparation stages starting Monday to become a diverging diamond interchange, also known as DDI. The goals: to ease traffic congestion and increase safety. A DDI switches lanes, eliminating the need for left-hand turns. One of several such interchanges around the city, the Powers and Airport interchange will be built next to the current intersection to minimize construction traffic impacts, according to CDOT. The work starting next week will run from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays and some Saturdays. Intermittent lane closures and higher construction traffic can be expected in the area. The full project will not be completed until 2026, CDOT said in the news release. The project includes pedestrian and bike paths while realigning Airport Road. Work includes bridge and ramp construction, placing embankment, concrete paving, overhead sign structure installation, new traffic signal systems, and permanent water quality ponds. The new interchange will be built north of the existing signalized intersection without disturbing current traffic patterns during most of the construction, said CDOT Region 2 Transportation Director Shane Ferguson. A similar interchange is in place at Powers and Research Parkway. Those are your top stories for the week of June 17th through June 21st. Please tune in each Friday for your weekend review from Engage the Rockies. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. If you'd like the full articles from the stories we read today, sign up to our email list at engagetherockies.com, and we'll send you our show notes each week. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.